Hi everyone. Um, this has nothing to do with anything, but I think my new special interest, if this counts even, is jelly beans. I am on like my fourth bag of beans by different brands because why the fuck is Jelly Belly so hard to find in a grocery store? Like, I don't get it. Why aren't they being sold at Wegmans? Like, are they? And I just don't know where the fuck they are. But anyways, like, all the Easter candy's out now. And I really want Jelly Belly, but I don't feel like ordering it online. And so I'm on a quest to find the next best jelly bean. And Welch's is out. I do not like the texture. But the flavor is good. What's winning right now is the Dunkin' Donuts, like coffee flavored jelly beans, because like they're so good. You can only have one jelly bean at a time if you really want to enjoy the flavor. Does this not sound autistic or what? But I don't give a fuck. Like right now, the Dunkin' Donuts jelly beans are front runners until I can get my hands on some Jelly Bellies. So I just thought I would share that. It has nothing to do with anything. Today, what I'm sharing is, I'm so excited to share this because, man, do I have a story for you. It's not like riveting, but I am so excited about this. I'm going to quickly preface this with saying it's about Alicia, my wife. Everything that I'm saying in this episode, I don't care if she listens to. Like, I don't know, like, maybe I should stop saying that because I think you guys get it. But this is not a complaining episode. This episode has a good ending for me. And I'm very proud of myself for my behavior this time. And I just wanted to share it because I've never done this before. So what I'm about to describe, it doesn't sound like very much, but like this was a situation that a year ago was what was going on in our marriage, and we were so close to getting divorced. Like a situation like this would happen on like a daily basis, and so that's why like I hate to keep repeating myself, but man, I am so happy that I know I'm autistic because I don't think I would be, how do I say this? Like, I don't know. If I did not know that I'm autistic, there's a good chance that like my wife and I would have ended up getting divorced. Now that I think about it. So I am so grateful for awareness. And I'm also still grateful for that fucking hysterectomy I got because like without all those hormones, like all that bullshit floating around in my body, like I feel like a calm person, like calmer, I should say. Like I feel totally different, but this isn't about like, well, it is about me, but let me just move right along. And then hopefully you know what I'm talking about. Sorry if I'm all over the place. This is just me, in my brain. Okay. So this has to do with ham and potato soup. If the ham and potato soup incident did not happen, this situation would not have happened. So, and this is actually funny to me, and it's funny to my wife. So maybe it's funny to you. Hi, honey. It's my cat. Sorry. So ham and potato soup. My wife and I have been on this ham and potato soup kick. Like it sounds like, I don't know, it's just ham and potato soup. But like when we were laid off like several years ago from our job that we moved to Syracuse for, we were trying to figure out what to do to pass the boredom while we were looking for jobs to get back into. So one of the things that I did, and I don't like cooking, but I was that bored. I was looking up like different recipes that I thought would be easy for me to make. And I came across like, it was just called ham and potato soup and it looked yummy. And I remember it being like wintertime when I saw this. So I copied it down and I went and got the ingredients and I made it. And apparently it's like the one thing that my wife loves that I make. I'm really good at it. Like, it tastes good. And I don't usually make tasty food. So we were going to have that like this week. So since I'm going, sorry, I have like, I'm just gross. What was I saying? Oh my God, is it going to start like this already? What was I saying? Oh, right. Okay, so ham and potato soup. So the way that I like to make her meals is like, and I know that there's people out there that can do this, but I can't. Like, I cannot double up ingredients when I'm cooking something. And what I mean by that is, so my plan was I got all this stuff for ham and potato soup. It lasts 2 days. So that's like 4 servings. And I was going to make it like for the first part of the week. And then I was going to make it again for the second part of the week. And sorry, watermouth. Oh my God, dry mouth and like phlegm. Like, I sound like a gross bitch, but anyways, I'm just going to keep talking. So yeah, so she knows that I have issues with numbers and math. And so she had made the suggestion, well, why don't you just like double the ingredients and then you'll have all of the potato soup for like the week. And then you don't have to worry about making it a second time. And I said, no, because in my mind, I can't do that. Oh my God, you guys are gonna like, just give me a second. God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the fuck is in my throat. This is gross. I sound like a gross bitch, but whatever. I'm so sorry. But I feel better now. So she suggested that I double up the ingredients, and I said no, because while I know how to do that, in my mind, I know, like, I already know how to cook the fucking meal with like just the normal ingredients. But if I double them up, then I have to make that much more veggies. And then everything's double. And then it's going to stress me out because it's not going to be cooked in the same way that it is the first time. Like, do you know what I mean? I hope this makes sense. I just like to do things that are easy for me. And so I had told her before, I said, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I have no problem making it a second time. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, when I make her breakfast for work, I make it fresh every day because I would just rather do that because A, like, she deserves to have like some fresh breakfast, and like B, I don't know, like, I just don't like doubling things up and trying to cook them that way. Like, it's easy enough for me to cook it the way that I know how to cook it. And like, I think I mentioned this before, but like, this reminds me of one time when I used to have a family, like, well, I mean, I do, but like my ex-family, I would drive to go see them because they had just moved somewhere. And Alicia was with me one time, and she's like, just go this way. This way's shorter. And I was like, no, I'm going this way, even though it's longer, because this is the way I took the first time. And I like this way because it's easy. And we just were arguing in the car. She's like, just go this way. And I was like, no. And she's like, go this way. And I was like, no. And that's what this reminded me of. She's got a lot going on, and so like it's frustrating because she forgets like the stuff that like I'm learning about myself and sharing with her. So, because she's got a lot going on. But anyways, I said, where was I? God, this is just how my brain's working right now. I'm so sorry. If you're still listening, I sound like I'm on crack, but I'm not. So I'm just going to try to slow this down. But anyways, so I was very adamant on, no, I thank you for the suggestion, but I don't want to double up on the ingredients, because also like, I don't want to eat like 4-day-old potato soup. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bougie. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to eat 4-day-old anything. That's disgusting. And if I'm going to like eat something, like it needs to be fresh in my mind. Like I don't give a fuck if it's okay to eat ham and potatoes after 4 days, but in my mind, no, I'm not doing that. So I thought that the situation was settled. And this was like over last weekend. Yeah, it was like Sunday and today's Thursday. So I'm sleeping and I get up and she's been up for a couple of hours and I walk into the kitchen to get my coffee and she just finished cutting up the vegetables for the ham and potato soup. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I just thought I would do something nice. And I already cut up all of like the potatoes and the celery and all that for the soup. And she's like, and I made enough for double. And so I was like, oh, thank you. You didn't have to do that. And like when I get up first thing, it takes a while to figure out what the fuck's going on around me. So like processing time is just so much slower for me until I've had my coffee and my morning routine. So I was, at least in that moment, I was like, okay, just say thank you. Don't be a bitch about it. And then you can think about this after your coffee and your routine. So that's what I did. I was like, that's very nice of you. Thank you. And so I don't know, like an hour or two later, once I was like more awake, I was starting to get a little irritated and I was like, I get that she did something nice, but like I told her I did not want to double up the fucking ingredients. And why didn't she listen to me? So, and then I was thinking, like, I've told her this before. She knows how I am with numbers and like sameness. And like, once I know how to do something, I just want to do it that exact same way every single time. Like, because that's what works for me. I don't want to double up on anything. I don't mind doing the work I don't mind doing work, you know? Like, I don't know. But so later on in the day, she was like waiting for the ham and potato soup to start getting made and I wasn't making it. And so she came to my room. She's like, oh, when do you think you're going to make dinner? And so I used tact and I was like, look, like I told you I don't like to do things differently than I've been doing them. And I told you that like I didn't want you to double up the ingredients. I don't want to make like all this potato soup for like the whole fucking week. So what I'm offering is either you make the ham and potato soup with all of the doubles of whatever, like you can do it and make it that way if you want, or let me make it and I will just like measure out what you already cut and just do it like the way I've been doing it. I was like, those are your two choices. And keep in mind, this is your only day off. And this bitch decided she wanted to make the fucking soup. I was like, oh my God, are you serious? And I just thought to myself, like, it's going to come out like shit, man. We're going to waste all this money having bought these fucking vegetables and she's not going to make it right. Because there's like certain things that I'm not like an expert in soup, but like there's a couple of steps in that recipe that I know that she wasn't going to follow because she likes to just like, for example, it called for like certain amount of water. And she likes to not pay attention to measurements and just like she'll put extra of something in. And that's what she did with the water because it was not thick. At the very end, when she had made the soup, it was like milk water. It was fucking gross. I didn't say that though. And she's like, oh, I think I put too much water in or something. And I'm like, well, did you follow the amount that was on the card? Like, she's like, no, I put extra in. I'm like, why would you do that when right in front of your face, it said put this much amount in? Like, why would you put more in? Like, who puts more water into anything that makes it, like, fucking just gross? So, I had a bowl of it, and she could tell I wasn't quite happy with it, and she's like, what do you think? And I said, it's good. And she thought I was lying, but I wasn't, because the vegetables and the potatoes and the ham coated in the milk water I could eat. That was good. That was okay. But I was not about to fucking lap up the fucking milk water. Like, that shit's supposed to be thick. And so I just said it was good. I could tell she thought I was lying, but she didn't say anything else. And I was like, okay, you should have just, like, listened. And so this is coming off of the back of, like, I was trying to learn something, like, technology-wise last week that I need to learn, and she knows how to do it, and I asked her to show me, and she's just been really irritable lately, so when she showed me, I wasn't quite picking up on it. She was getting, like, aggravated, and it just reminded me of, like, when I was a kid. And my mom was like, hurry up, like, figure this out. Like, you should know how to do this. I just showed you. She wasn't being that bad, but, like, you know, sometimes it just sucks being, like, when you're married and you and your spouse are both in therapy and you both had fucked up childhoods and you both are trying to work on your shit, like, while you're married. You know, you can't help but trigger each other. It's just going to happen. And that's what happened. And so then, like, when the potato soup thing came on, and then at the end of the day, I just thought to myself, like, we waste all this fucking food. She doesn't even like it that much, but I know she's going to just keep eating it because she wants to make a point. So I had just gone into shutdown mode. Like, it just happened. I couldn't control it. What brought it on was just feeling really disappointed that it felt like, you know, I've told her these things about myself quite a few times. Like, why isn't she remembering? Why didn't she listen to me when I said, don't do this? You know, it was that stuff. So I went into shutdown mode, and because I got triggered. And so I had told her before what happens, like, what I figured out about myself when I shut down. And, like, we actually went through one of those. Where I shut down, and, you know, like, we made it through just fine. And so I was like, she knows what I'm doing. So I retreated to my room, after telling her how I felt about her forgetting my learning issue. I don't know, like, numbers issue, just not listening to me. I said that it was just a little disappointing. I wasn't mad at her or angry, and I wasn't looking to start a fight, but, like, you know, I found out all the stuff about myself that I'm excited about, and I shared it with you. And, like, in my mind, I'm like, you know, like, you're going through a lot of stuff too, and I am doing everything I can to understand it and help you through it. And, like, why can't you just do the same thing for me? You know, it was just one of those. And she's a very loving person. She's just been very irritable these past couple of weeks, which is, like, so unlike her. I am not used to this side. We've been together for a decade. She's never been irritable. So I guess, like, depression just really does suck all your feelings out of you. So, and this is a little tangent, but, like, she found out on her own yesterday that she has ADHD. And I have told her this for the whole time I've known her, for 10 years. I was like, dude, you have ADHD. Dude, you have ADHD. Dude, you have ADHD. And she was like, no, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. It's depression. So turns out whatever she's been doing to work, like, through stuff has helped her depression. But now, you know, like, when you work on something in your life, something else starts bubbling to the surface, and it's like, hey, work on me. That was ADHD. And she was like, oh, I think I have ADHD. And I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit. And so she's telling me this stuff last night about, like, I discovered this, and yeah, and I do that. And she thought she was sharing with me new information. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, bitch, like, I've known this and I've told you this for 10 years, but that's okay. I know we have to, like, accept our shit on our own terms and our own timeline. But so, you know, oh God, she's just really irritable. She's just being bitchy. And, like, I'm the one that plays that role. Like, I don't do it anymore, but, like, I was the bitch in the marriage. She was the one that was, like, the normal one. Like, she knew how to handle her emotions properly, like, manage them, work through them. She didn't have, like, irritability. she wasn't mean or like snippy. I don't know. It's just weird when all of a sudden she is those things. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness I had a hysterectomy and I know I'm autistic, because this is totally some shit that like I would have blown out of proportion last year, and it just would keep chipping away at our marriage. And anyways, so where was I? Oh yes. So I retreated to my room. Sorry guys, this is just how it is today. After I told her how I felt about her forgetting what I've told her about myself and not listening to me when I told her I was okay with making the soup twice. So a couple hours goes by and she comes to my room, opens the door. She's like, do you want to talk? And I said no. And she just looked at me and she closed the door and she left. And I was like, oh, that was pretty easy. And then she came back like an hour later. She's like, do you want to hang out? And I said no. And I said it just like that. And she closed the door. And she personalized it, which was hilarious to me, because that's the shit that I've been doing for years. And like an hour or two after that, she came back and she's like, I'm going to sleep. And I'm like, okay. So I gave up and I gave her a hug and a kiss. And I was like, good night. And she goes off to bed. And the next day, now keep in mind, like if I didn't know that I'm autistic, that first day would have just been fucked. Because I didn't know like what I didn't know I was in shutdown mode. I didn't know like all of the stuff that I know now. So that's how bad it was over something like that. Doesn't really sound like that big of an issue, but I don't know how else to explain that. So anyways, the next day I'm still in shutdown mode and she thinks I'm being bitchy. And I explicitly told her more than once that I had discovered that no, I'm not actually intending to be a bitch. I don't feel like I want to be a bitch. This is what it looks like on the outside when I'm shut down. And I'm still trying to come to terms with the fact that like I go almost completely nonverbal when I'm in that mode, which I did not know about myself before. I wasn't even anywhere close to like understanding that that's what that is. And I had told her this a couple of times. She experienced it not that long ago. So I'm thinking, okay, like, you know what this is. You should be okay. Just stay away from me. This is what we discussed. Let me work through this on my own, and then I'll come out of it when I come out of it, because I can't control a shutdown. Like I honestly can't. And I'm not trying to use autism as an excuse, but you guys know, like, when you're in shutdown mode, all of a sudden, it's like you think that that's how it's going to be. I'm not assuming, like, this is just me, but you just kind of think that, wow, you know, like, things are just going to be negative from here on out, and they're not going to get any better. And so this time, I was so proud of myself because I was thinking that way. I was like, fuck, man, like, she just doesn't fucking get it. And like, this is never going to change. And then I caught myself thinking that way. And I'm like, no, you've thought this way before. This is a shutdown. You're going to come out of it and you're not going to think this way. And I was like, oh my God, I finally did it. I finally like interrupted some of the shutdown by interjecting rational thinking. It was so hard because it's just so hard to try to like do something different, even though it's like the better thing to do. So yeah. So like the next day when I'm still in shutdown mode, she was at work. She came home. Like I stayed away from her. Like I thought she knew she was supposed to stay away from me. And then like, before she goes to bed, we'll say goodnight, and like I should be fine the following day, because I told her it takes me a day or two to come out of this sometimes. She must have forgotten about that because she was really personalizing it. And then the next day after that, I don't know what day we're on, Tuesday? Was it Tuesday? I don't know. I'm bad with days. It was sometime like a couple days ago. So she comes home from work and I'm not in shutdown mode anymore. Not that she asked, but I'm not in shutdown mode. I feel fine. She comes home, and keep in mind that like the front door goes right into my room. So I looked at her and I said, hi. She said hi, and then she went to her room and changed out of her work clothes and then just stayed there for a few hours and did not come back. And what usually happens is like when she gets home, I'm working on a book. She goes and changes into comfy clothes. I stop what I'm doing because she comes back to my room. We chat about like how our days have been so far, and then we go our separate ways. She goes and does homework, and I keep working for a couple hours until dinner. And she didn't come back to my room. So I was like, oh, she must be like in a bad mood or something. So that kind of triggered some of my stuff, because I was like, when somebody else is in like a bad mood around me, like I feel the need to stay away, because I feel like I can pick up on their energy really easily, and then like I easily become negative too if I wasn't feeling that way. And that's a true thing. And then so I just stayed away from her, because I was like, she's in some sort of a bad mood that she doesn't seem to want to talk about. And this is the part where like I take ownership, because I know that there's two sides to every story, and I am not blameless here. Like I could have gone to her and been like, hey, what's going on? Why are you just in your room now all of a sudden? Like, do you want to talk? Like, I could have done that. And I should have, but I honestly am not there yet. And that sounds like I'm not trying to not take accountability of myself, but I thought it was amazing that I recognized how my thought process was during a shutdown, and I actively worked on changing it. That's as far as I've gotten in this whole thing. And I thought that was cool. But I don't think she quite saw it that way. So yeah, I could have gone to her room and like been proactive, and I didn't. So that's definitely something I need to work on. But anyways, so what happened to that night, okay? So like I've been in my room doing whatever. She's about to go to bed, and she comes to my room again, opens the door, and she's like, is this how it's going to be? And like, in her mind, the situation was as bad as it was a year ago. She thought that our marriage was like in jeopardy. And meanwhile, like I'm doing fine. So she's all serious and shit. And like, this is the part where like I was a total asshole, and I didn't mean to be, but I totally pulled a Josh Thomas. And if you've seen his shows, the ones I talked about in previous episodes, you will know what I mean. And I have never done this before, but she was just so serious. And she's like, you know, she was like mad, and I was in a good mood, and I just started laughing at her. And she's like, you think this is funny? And I'm like, well, yeah. I'm like, what are you taking this so seriously for? You think our marriage is in jeopardy? Like, what the fuck? And I couldn't stop laughing. And I was like, look at you in a bad mood. I mean, she's never in bad moods. That's what I'm saying. It's fucking hilarious to me, because this is the shit that I have been like. I have been this person for like years. And sorry for the dry mouth. And the fact that like she is like this now a little bit, oh my God, it's hilarious to me because of all the crap I put her through, which I do seriously regret. But like, now I know how she felt. It's not nice being on the receiving end of somebody's negative feelings, and they take it out on you. So I'm okay with karma. Some days I can deal with it fine. Other days I just need some time. But that one night, I was just in a good mood, and I just thought that she was going to laugh with me. And then I realized that she really wasn't going to laugh with me, and that made me laugh even more. And then like she started raising her voice. And so, okay, so this is what I did. She was raising her voice, and I wasn't. And I was like, excuse me, like, why are you raising your voice? Like, I'm not raising my voice right now. Like, I'm not, and you are. And she's like, what? Oh my God. And like, and so I got a little bit triggered again, because like it happens, but I'm dealing with it better. And so then I stopped laughing. I was like, okay. And she's just like, I'm going to go to bed. And so like, I went and grabbed my pillow and a blanket, because I was going to sleep out here in my recliner. And Then I went back and grabbed my fan because, hot flashes. And I was just like, and then I was kind of laughing when I did that too. I'm like, I don't know what was wrong with me, but I thought it was all funny. But then I grabbed my shit and I was like, I'm sleeping out in my room because like, I do not feel safe in here right now with your feelings. She's like, well, get your pillow, get your blanket. And I already had them in my hand. I'm like, well, duh, that's what I'm doing right now. And I left and I went to my room and I went to sleep. Like, she's in her 40s. I'm almost 40. Like, how is this our life? But this can't just be us. Like, now that I know about other people's relationship dynamics and how autism factors into it, and ADHD and all the other neurodiversity stuff. Where was I going with this? Anyways, so yeah, that was the other night. And so I slept out here in my recliner and it was very comfy, although I would have preferred the bed, but I made that choice. And so now we're up to yesterday. And so it's yesterday morning, and the morning after I slept out in my room by myself. And so I text her because I was like, she used to do this for me when I was a real bitch. She would just text me and be like, are you like fine now? Like, do you want to talk about this? So I was like, oh, I don't want to be that one that does that, but I have to because she did it for me. So I extended the olive branch and I was like, are you done being upset now? And I explained in a text message. I was like, look, I told you this, and this, and it's not my fault that you didn't remember. And so, like, I don't know what you're thinking is going on here, but like, I just want some crumble cookies. If you guys know what that place is, Crumble. I think it's just a stateside thing. I could be wrong, but like they have the best fucking cookies. But I think I talked about that before. But so I was like, they had a new batch of cookies out this week, like new flavors. And it actually like finally looked good because for the last couple of weeks, they haven't had that great of cookie selection. And so I was like, so are you going to get cookies or not? Because you want some, and I do too. And so I think she was a little surprised by that. And then she gets home and I'm like, howdy, how's it going? And so then we talk, and then I got to gloat because she realized I did actually practice better communication. And I had told her about this is how I am, and like this is what I just need to retreat to my room because I don't want to do anything I regret. I need to figure out how to work through this on my own, and it's best when you're not around. And like that was the truth. And it's like she forgot that. And she apologized, and I apologized too, because like I was, when I know I'm right about something, I'll gloat. Like, I don't know how not to do that. And what I mean by that is like when the other person thought that they were in the right the whole time, and then they realized that they were not, and it was actually me, I gloat. Because do you know how good it feels to like not be the one that's like in the wrong, or, for lack of a better way of saying that. So I was like, yeah, you got real mad when I pointed out that your voice got louder and mine didn't. You did not like hearing that. And I was like, but to be honest, I was kind of amused by that. And I was kind of like being a dick about it too. Like, oh, you're getting mad. Oh my God. I have so much to work on, but, yeah, like this totally would not have happened if she had just let me make that fucking soup. She should have just let me make the soup. And then all of that could have been avoided. But then again, I would have missed out on an opportunity to work through how I was feeling during a shutdown, because it wasn't a meltdown. It was a shutdown. There's a huge difference. And I know you guys know. Not to mention, like, when I wasn't being a gloating or, like an asshole-ish kind of way, when I wasn't acting like that, I was just like, proud of myself because I thought that like I was having better communication. And then I owned up to like my part in the conflict that we had, because there's still so much I need to work on. And I'm just not there with some of that stuff yet. But, I took ownership of all that, and we talked, and I was like, you know what? it feels so nice to just be like, yeah, I did this, this, and this. I'm very sorry about that. I'm going to continue working on this. And then, like, you just move forward. And, like, it doesn't have to be this whole issue hanging over the marriage. I mean, it was really bad last year up until about April or May. We almost got divorced for stuff like this because it would happen on a daily fucking basis. And I had no awareness of what was going on with me. I just knew it was something that wasn't supposed to be happening. And I was on a quest to figure out what the fuck it was. And that led me to autism, which thank goodness, because I honestly think that if I did not figure that out, we would be divorced right now. That would be sad because she really is like the best wife. She's the best person that's ever been in my life. But yeah, I mean, look at how much work I did on myself. Therapy pays off. Like, I'm so proud of myself. That's so hard to do, to practice different ways of thinking. And I'm not like, I didn't do it perfectly, but like what I did do was more than what I've done before. And I can't fucking believe I did it. Does that even make sense? Yeah, she should have just let me make that soup. Anyways, I don't know, what was the point of this episode? What did I say the point was? I don't think I said that there was a point. I don't know. If there is any point, maybe you've already gotten it, or well, I don't fucking know. I recorded this because I guess I really just wanted to gloat. I guess that's just what it came down to. But also, I'm sure that there's people out there that have been or go through stuff like this with their spouse or a friend, I don't know. Maybe somebody can relate to this. Maybe like if you feel totally hopeless during a shutdowns, like, I always feel there can be a time that comes where you can change the way that you think during a shutdown and like decrease how long it goes on for. If I didn't have that thought when I was shut down, it easily could have gone on for like another day or two, and it didn't. And I'm proud of that. And so turns out, like I can do things differently and do them a bit better. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without knowing that I'm autistic, if I'm honest. So I'm so grateful. And I'm sure you guys feel grateful that you either figured this out on your own or were diagnosed and now you have this knowledge and now your whole life makes sense. And, it's just, it's nice. So thank you if you're still listening. And autism for the win. Okay, bye.